Today we're going to be talking about budgeting season and all
seasons that are budgeting.
All seasons, seasons be budgeting.
Tis the season
to budget.
To budget, indeed.
It is, and it seems to come around earlier and earlier and I think my drink might be on a short letters. Yep. Earlier and earlier and earlier every single year.
Yeah, because we started it now for 2028. Yeah.
2038. And to be honest, I'd rather it came around earlier rather than having those panic calls in November. Hey guys, we should probably start. Yeah. Do you guys have any opinions on budgets for next
year? Could you just whip up a budget for us?
Here's one I prepared
for the whole year.
Yeah. Blue Peter viewers will get that. Not a lot that side of the Atlantic. So, the concept of today's chat: how hotels can plan a realistic marketing budget based on what they want to achieve, not just pulling numbers out of their ass.
Yeah. How are they going to do that then, Ben?
Great question, Tris, and I am glad you asked.
Okay, then.
The first topic, where should they start?
Probably the beginning.
What should a hotel consider before setting its marketing budget? How much money have you got? What is the ceiling of this budget, and what do you want to achieve?
I think it goes a little earlier than that, and it goes down to marketing principles, doesn't it? And the thing is, the hotel industry has got its like, this is how we work, and it is fundamentally different to every other business that exists out there. Realistically, there should be a percentage of your turnover goes into marketing and into budget. That percentage can vary, depends on what your goals are, but it doesn't work that way. It really doesn't work that way in the hotel industry. No,
it seems the thing I used to find frustrating when I was on the front line. Sounds like bloody warfare. It would always seem like it was a surprise to revenue managers. Oh, you mean shit? We've got to talk about next year. You want more money to do this magic stuff? Yes, please.
Yeah.
The question we would always discuss is, or the starting topic of conversation is, should we start with what you did last year, or should look forward to what you want to get achieved from next year? So if the goals have changed for next year, if you're looking for wider reach, or if you're looking specifically to reduce the share of comp set, then it's going to be different. You're going to assign and apply budgets differently, and you may need more. And it's not just on your goals, it's you reacting to the goals of your competitors and the goals of the OTAs. If they're wanting higher value stays, their goals will change, and so your goals will have to change, and your tactics will have to change. And because of that, your budget will have to change. So it's very and sometimes I genuinely don't feel like some of the properties know what their goals are for next year because they've not decided yet, or ownership haven't fed down their demands.
Well, we've had this as well. It's like because obviously the hotel demand is not just looking at the one small piece of the pie which we're talking about, which is the direct website contribution. It's looking at the overall business. What is the hotel going to actually bring in? And when you carve up those macro level groups, of where they're expecting business to come from, it doesn't always translate to what actually is achievable. There are times where we've had people come and say, yeah, we've got really aggressive and ambitious growth. This is what we're going to do. This is how we think it's achievable. By the way, your website needs to double its production next year. What budget do you need? Well, believe it or not, it's not double. No. If you want to do that, it's far greater. But then on conversely, flip side of that, we've had people come in and say, well, yeah, actually, our target for next year is 18% less than what we did the trailing 12 months when we're looking at it. Well, okay, well, why? That doesn't make any sense. At the very least, it should be a similar-ish sort of baseline to what it is now. But to your point as well, then, you start throwing in wider considerations, not just comp set. You've got geopolitical, you've got economic, weather-based. There's all kinds of issues that can affect it that completely throw a budget out of the window. Out the window. And it doesn't have to be a 12-month thing here. It can literally be a one event. One event can ruin 2 weeks, a 2 week period.
It can ruin a lot more.
In the busy period. And that can be such a huge impact. And that's the bit that I've always found difficult, is that we're setting a budget now for what is going to end in 18 months' time. There doesn't seem to be a degree of flexibility built into these budgets. Not enough.
No, I agree. And there's a lot of it's going back and with cap in hand saying, please, sir, could I have some more dollars?
Yeah.
Because we're making money. We're damn near printing money at the minute. the sort of things I remember, and I see our team getting stuck on with the conversations sometimes the revenue managers bring up. They'll ask what cost, like what do we need to account for in our budget? Well, you need to account for your media spend. You need to account for the money you're going to give the channels to spend, and you also need to account for agency fees. One of the things that I often think goes ring-fenced, testing.
Yeah.
Testing, but I genuinely feel like there should be in hotels and resorts should accept that there is going to be a line item that is just testing, even if it's just $500 a month or $1,000 or whatever proportionally makes sense for them to try new things. I don't want to have to be, taken away from channels that are performing or hitting their return goals to try all the latest in AI-driven 3D hologram ads from TikTok.
I've seen them.
When we get neural links into people's brains. That's the one thing I think misses a lot. A genuine testing budget that is ring-fenced.
Yeah. And we've started putting those into our media budgets, but if I'm being honest, one of the first things that are taken out. Whenever there's any stress testing of that budget or any pushback. But not only that, there's the other aspect of this to consider as well, especially when you're going into a new season, and that is going to be how much Google's going to put their price up and how much Facebook and meta search and everything else, how much those budgets are going to go up. And it really does vary depending on region, depends on competition. If you've got a member of your comp set or the OTA that you're the biggest OTA you're up against starting to drill down and push harder on your business, then the cost of the auction is actually going to go up, and that's the whole thing that is difficult to quantify because it's an auction at the end of the day, and it ebbs and flows and it changes. It changes by the hour in some cases. So a very base level, there's got to be a baked in increase in cost of operation.
Yes, just the add inflation.
Yeah,
the inflation of CPCs. Okay, how should hotels decide where to spend more or less year over year?
3 and 6.
Yeah. If we come with asking for more, it's not greed. It's not a Nando's budget.
Most of it is going towards Google and Facebook in any case. So that's
the difficult conversations when people are like, why do you want another 10 grand? You've been really greedy, dude. It's not for me.
Yeah,
like it's not my. You're like my kids. My kids think that all the 3 and 6 revenue coming in is just. It's not. Most of it goes to Google and Meta. I think if a hotel has in mind a return they want to hit. If you're hitting that return and you want to spend a little bit more, great. If you're not and you want to move that and you're chasing just returns, you might want to move money away from these lower performing channels if you're getting the pressure from above into the higher performing ones. Or be a little bit braver, move it into testing, go out on your shield if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I think it's but it's different on a property by property basis, I think.
Yeah, and again, it's that it's that testing kind of falls under like brand awareness as well, isn't it? Because that's typically where you're going to put it. We're not going to find an amazingly lucrative converting channel that nobody's happened to heard of. It doesn't exist. Not yet, and it will take time. Like AI, we're talking about ChatGPT as being one channel. We're starting to see early signs of it being embedded in the entire journey. Yeah. And GPT ads have only just come out. In the grand scheme of things, it's literally brand new. I keep getting emails every week about how much they're changing the platform, because they're rapidly trying to play catch up to a 15, 20-year-old business that exists out there with the Google Ads platform. Yeah. So that testing, finding that bottom of the funnel converting channel isn't going to happen overnight. That if you've got a digital marketing agency, they're already working on it. So we're talking about brand awareness, and this is where, for me, I think hotels, the digital marketing agency, and the digital marketer working on it, they need to be brave. They need to stand the corner and really push for that, because more often than not, we'll cut that because we just need to get return on ad spend. So great, but the long-term objectives of that business is to grow. And I think if you sit down, if the digital marketer was to sit down in front of the owner, or the owner just say, well, this is the long-term plan, this is what we want to do, there will be growth involved in that in every business.
Yeah.
And for me, that is the testing, it's the non-brand, but it's not going to give you a return immediately.
No, it's not. And the word is bravery, rather than just you're trying something new, rather than just sitting at the bottom, catching all the branded keywords that you end up above the OTAs for. That's not what an agency brings.
And it is, and we have these conversations. Oh yeah, what innovation can you bring? What's this? How can you push this forward? And there are lots of ways that we can bring innovation, especially at 3&6. There's so many different ways. But when the push comes to shove and we actually sit down and start talking about it, and say, well, is it proven? How can you prove that this is going to work? It's, well, we can't, not in your circumstance, because you've never done it before. No. Or in some cases, ChatGPT, it's so new, it's changing by the minute, but you're going to have to try it, because look how often people are using ChatGPT in their daily life compared to 3 years ago, 4 years ago. 4 years ago, it wasn't even here.
No, I do. Okay, planning for the year. This is a really good one. How should busy and quiet periods affect the budget? Now, you have these shoulder seasons, you have peak and lows. It honestly depends on the appetite of the hotels. Some of them are happy. Some of them want to push against the flow of the year. Well, this is traditionally the low season in my area, but I'd like to go hard into this so that when there is revenue to get, I want to get it. Or they pull back a little bit more cautious, a little bit defensive, and then go really, really hard into high season. And I think it depends on the needs, on the goals of the hotel, and on the appetite for risk on the property, the people you're dealing with.
I think going back to you're probably one of the first comments you meant there. It's your budget level as well. If your budget is not at the maximum of where it needs to be to capture the lowest conversion channels, then you're going to have to maximize for your peak seasons, not your low seasons. Otherwise, you're just going to miss out.
Yeah.
If your budget is in an adequate position, then you've got a little bit more flexibility. But if I'm being perfectly honest with you, there's not many hotels that are going to have that much budget where there's room for testing, there's room for this. We're maxed out here, there, and everywhere. For something, the direct channel, which is essentially going to be 10 to 30% of their overall business that's coming in. In some cases less, some cases more. But it's difficult to. It's difficult to try and budget for something when you haven't actually got the budget for it.
Difficult to budget if you don't have the budget.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of golden snippet you can get from this podcast.
You're welcome.
It's hard to spend money if you don't have money, kids. Stay in school.
It's hard to earn money if you can't earn money.
And again, you continue to ask, should some money be kept aside for unexpected needs? Absolutely.
Yes.
Because great point. We're budgeting now for like December 2028. I don't know what I'm doing December 2027. I don't even know what I'm doing at 7:20 tonight. So to have an idea of what's going on so far in the future, there does need to be a contingency. There needs to be the opportunity to go back and say, listen, we're going to need to shift funds because of this. Largely speaking, you'll know if there's competing properties opening up in the area. You'll know if there's changes in politics and changes in sort of regional legislations that might impact occupancy or even the flow of guests into the region. But sometimes you won't. Sometimes there'll be things that you just can't plan for. You can't plan for the unexpected. So there does need to be a line item of just it's gone to shit, and we need some more money to either test this new thing or just to pull back and go defensive. Let the OTAs have this quarter and put our money where we're going to make money.
Yeah. A big one for me for that is weather, especially those properties that weather dependent, and depending on what season it is as well. I mean, look, over here in the UK, we've had some unseasonably hot.
It's been baking.
It has been. It's been a bit of a sweatbox, hasn't it? And of course, as everybody knows around the world, the Brits don't believe in air conditioning. It's voodoo. Yeah. Why would we have such a convenience? Yeah. That's going to impact decision making. Same as extreme weather hotels. Snow.
Yep.
If the snow comes in late, snow comes in early. Yay! But what's the level? What's the level that weekend? There's all kinds of stuff. We did that with our weather based ads. That found that was incredibly useful. That short-termistic booking. So there are ways and there are tactics that you can use in those circumstances. But again, your budget needs to be flexible. Your marketing needs to be flexible. Your whole outlook, your whole operation needs to be flexible, be able to capitalize on it or push harder when it's starting to get a bit difficult.
Okay, common mistakes and pitfalls is repeating next year's or previous year's budget ever okay? I would say yes, as long as your expectations are low.
Yeah, lower than what they were this year. Yes, yeah. I mean, look, it's perfectly fine if that's all you've got and that's all you're being given. Then you have very little choice in the matter.
As long as you're able to report back to the higher ups, hey, the output of these campaigns has dropped because the CPCs have increased, competition's increased, and we are doing exactly the same thing as we were doing last year when that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So that's why you're seeing 15-20%.
But that's the problem. You're setting those budgets now for something that's happening ultimately going to end in 18 months' time. And in 12 months' time, when we're in the thick of it, no one will remember the decisions that were made 12 months ago as to why that budget was lower. No. It's just what's going wrong.
What's going wrong?
Yeah.
Why is there a fire? Ideally, like quarterly budgets would be better, but it's hard enough getting one big budget document out of like a DOF.
Well, I was talking about this in a recent client meeting about cost per acquisition budgeting. In reality, there shouldn't be a budget at all. If you have got within a tolerance level of profitability, then you can keep pushing that budget and pushing because typically your website is your cheapest channel. So if you're starting to see great movement in one particular area, even if it's temporary, even if it's a week, a month, whatever it would be, you should be allowed to push hard into that and drill down and maximize it. Now, we do that at 3&6, but what we have to do is we've kind of got to go and steal from another area that we think is not doing as well. But the problem is, it's probably doing okay. It's probably doing pretty well.
And in some cases, it'll be supporting the channel that's doing
exactly,
well.
And that's the issue. So, if you go into e-commerce, and obviously circumstances are different, where 100% of your business is coming through your website, and you're saying, we're doing really great this year. We're doing really great this week. We're doing absolutely fantastic, but you only give me a budget of X, so I didn't spend it and we missed out on all of these sales. You would lose your client quicker than you can change your socks.
I agree.
Whereas in the hotel industry, it's completely flipped on its head. And I still believe there is a place for cost per acquisition bidding, but it's a very brave revenue management company that's going to.
So what you're essentially saying, is that you've got almost an unlimited line on the P&L, just like commission, like OTA commission. It's never capped, is it?
Yeah.
And we'll just keep paying whilst you guys keep booking.
But that's nice and simple because it's an easy calculation because every month I get this percentage and that's what I'll have to pay. So I can forward forecast that. Whereas on a variable here, it's a lot more difficult to work out what the actual cost is for your direct channel. But when you really do work it out, it's infinitely cheaper than the OTA. Where's that channel going to go? If your direct channel is growing and you haven't got a limit on your budget, chances are it's probably coming from your OTA budget. We're not going to be going stealing from GDS or Consortia. It just doesn't work that way. So it's probably from the OTAs and at a cheaper cost. So for me, in my head, it makes sense. From a hotel and the way the business is built and the operations of it, I know it's virtually impossible to do.
Okay, before this turns into a therapy session for us both, we should probably wrap up by saying it is budget season. It's not the most wonderful time of the year, but it's a close second. And now is the time to start the conversations with marketing teams and with agencies to align, it sounds really corporate, to align on your goals for next year and work out if you've got the damn money to do it. And they'll be the people who can tell you. Obviously 3&6 will tell you better than anyone else, but other agencies are available. If you need help with your budgets, reach out to us and we'll do everything we can. Thanks.